What is going on, guys? My name is Wheelman, and today I've got some Battlefield 3 info for you guys. I know it's been a while since I played Battlefield 3 and put it up on the channel, but I've got some news/info for you guys today about the M16. And I know this is a subject which has been somewhat divisive in the Battlefield community as of late. So is the M16 OP? Is the M4A1 OP? Did they need to be patched? Did they need to be nerfed? Did the M416 need to be buffed? I'm going to try and cover all of that in a short span of time, so bear with me and let's hop right into it. First of all, before I start, this is just some quick No Shark Canals deathmatch gameplay with the M16A3, and then later on I'll transition into the M4A1. If at any point during this video I say the words M16, just assume that I mean only the M16A3 and the M4A1 carbine version included in that. I'm not going to cover the M4 burst variant or the M16A4 burst variant because I don't know if and or how much they were affected by the patch. So what happened? Well, basically, for some background for you guys that either don't play Battlefield or haven't played in a while and don't know, there's been a lot of something of an uproar in the community recently about the M16 variants saying that their starter weapons is the first weapon you get on the American side, and yet they're the best weapons in the game all around. They're a little bit too powerful, not necessarily in terms of damage, but they are very low recoil weapons, very predictable recoil weapons, or at least they were, with some of the quickest reload times, if not the quickest reload times in the game, and medium-high fire rate, so that makes for a very controllable, very easy to use, very all-around just great weapon, and I agree with that. I think that, I mean, the M4A1 is personally my favorite weapon in the game. The only reason I say the M4A1 and not the M16A3 is because I play primarily engineer, almost exclusively engineer, so I tend to roll with the carbine version, but if I do play assault, I play M16A3, and yeah, it's just they're really good weapons. They feel good. They feel, or at least before the patch, they felt good at almost any range. But some of the members of the community, and actually a large portion of the community, was saying that this has gone too far. It's fine to have a balanced all-around weapon, but to have a weapon that's this good in almost every aspect as a starter gun is a little bit too much. So they complained to DICE, and the DICE heard their complaints and toned it down. But there are some people now saying that they've toned it down too much, and there are some members of the community, and I will say, like myself, I'll give my opinion here, that believe that the M16 and M4A1 weren't broken in any way to begin with. They weren't, you know, there was never any glitch, obviously, or anything like that that made them OP, but I don't think they were overpowered to begin with. And here's, well, not here's why. Let me cover something else first real quickly. So what happened? Well, what DICE did is they listened to the people's complaints, and they released it was actually a huge patch. It took me about a half hour to download. If you haven't downloaded yet, it's either 1.3 or 1.4 gigs. It's going to take a while, so it's a huge patch, and they nerfed the M16A3 and the M4A1, and they buffed, among other weapons, the M416, which is another M16 variant, to make, in their, I don't remember their words exactly, but it was something along the lines of, in order to make, you know, certain weapons more viable, so that players have a greater choice of viable weaponry to use. Okay, fine, whatever, you know what, it's fine. But what they did is they took the M16A3 and the M4A1, they added some visual horizontal recoil and a little bit of visual vertical recoil, rather, from what I can tell. And what I'm feeling as I was playing, recording this the other night, was they've added some kind of controller vibration, from what I can feel. Now, maybe this is just me not having played Battlefield in a while, but I'm fairly sure that there's some more controller vibration in you know, the controller when you use these guns specifically than I remember from before. So if anybody else had that feeling, let me know in the comments below, because that's not something that I've heard mentioned yet, really. But yeah, controller vibration makes a surprisingly large difference when you're playing. So yeah, that's so let me get into this. How is that going to affect us as M16 users, or M4A1 users, as I smoothly transition into some M4A1 gameplay? And by the way, this guy I'm shooting at over here, he's about to eat grenade in the face. So how does this affect us? Well, basically what this patch does is it makes the guns, I don't think it makes the guns worse. Let me start off there. Personally, again, this is my personal opinion. Please do feel free to leave your personal opinion, whether you agree or disagree with me, in the comments below. But my personal opinion is that it doesn't make the guns any worse. What it does is make the guns harder to use, especially for those who are not as high a skill level or don't have as much experience with these particular guns. They're going to be harder to get used to. They're not as good as all-round starter weapons. They're a little bit more specialized for close to mid-range as opposed to all ranges or close to mid to long range. And that's something that may or may not be a good thing, depending on your viewpoint. My viewpoint personally is that they were fine before, but there's some important questions to be asked here, and one is, okay, question number one. We already covered this. Do I think these weapons are any worse? No. Question number two, do I think they're still usable? Are they still viable options? Absolutely. I still feel like I can use these with great success. Question number three, do I still feel like I can poop on fools with these things? Yes, absolutely. As somebody who would, and again, not to I'm not trying to brag or anything, but I feel like I'm a seasoned player with these particular guns, and I'm not even that good. I'm pretty average player in general, but with these guns, I've had my most experience in the game in terms of infantry fighting with these weapons. I feel like I can still wreck people, depending on the situation, obviously, with these guns more than any other guns in the game. So will I be substituting my beloved M4A1 for G36C or an ACWR rather? No, not likely. There are drawbacks to each of those guns that turn me off to them and turn me on even more to the M4A1. And by the way, I'm taking all of this data from the gameplay you're seeing, all of this information that I'm telling you about on bare guns, completely bare weapons. The only thing I'm using is an optic. Obviously, that doesn't affect statistics, performance in any way in that nature, but no foregrips, no heavy barrels or anything. Now, here's something that I think is very important. Will attachments make more of a difference on these guns now? Attachments like foregrip and heavy barrel, will they make more of a difference to you now as a player than they did before? Probably. I haven't tried out either of these guns with any attachments yet, but we'll see. So here's a recoil comparison with the M16A3. First burst there is no recoil control at all, just letting the gun sort of draw itself up, and second burst on the right hand side is with recoil control. You can see the spread there. Again, this is with the M4A1's time. No recoil control, and you can see that the damage, or the recoil sort of over range is not as good as the longer M16. And then with recoil control on the right hand side, again, not a terrible spread pattern, but not as good as it used to be. Just for comparison, here's the newly buffed M416, and you can see that the recoil goes almost straight up with no recoil control. They've taken effectively they've taken away the horizontal recoil. With recoil control, again, this is on a 360 controller. I don't know how it is on PS3 or especially PC, but very, very tight pattern. I mean, the thing is a laser beam now. So, is the M416 the new god gun? Yeah, probably. Is everybody going to use it? Yeah, probably. Will I be using it? No. Again, I play almost exclusively engineer, so I will be using my baby, this gun, this M4A1 rather. This thing is still amazing. But yeah, go ahead and leave your thoughts below if you'd like to. Go ahead and rate the video either up or down. I would greatly appreciate that. Feedback is always appreciated. But other than that, I would like to thank you guys for watching, and have an awesome day.